Isn't it kind of wild when you think about it? You type in a website, hit enter, and boom, a page from a server thousands of miles away just appears. It feels like magic, right? Instantaneous. Well, behind that magic, there's this incredible, invisible blueprint. So let's dive in and see how it all actually works. Okay, think about this for a second. You go to open a movie file that's saved right there on your own laptop. It might take a few seconds to load up. But then you open up Facebook, which is pulling all its data from a giant server farm probably halfway across the world, and it takes about the same amount of time. How on earth is that possible? It's all thanks to some pretty amazing network engineering. And yet, that's exactly the point. The whole goal of a computer network is to create that seamless feeling. The entire system is designed to make two computers, separated by oceans and continents, feel like they're part of the same machine. You get the data so fast, it's as if it was on your own hard drive the whole time. So let's peel back that curtain of magic. Let's ask the most basic question. At its core, what does it really take for any two computers to have a conversation at all? Well, it really just boils down to two things. First, the obvious one. You need a physical connection of some kind. A cable, a Wi-Fi signal, something to actually carry the signal. But honestly, that's the easy part. The real challenge, the second requirement, is that they need a shared understanding. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you only speak Punjabi, and you call someone who only speaks Telugu. The sound waves travel through the phone just fine. The person on the other end can definitely hear your voice, but can they understand a single word you're saying? Not a chance. The physical connection is there, but real communication? It's just not happening. And that is where this super important idea comes in, a protocol. You can just think of a protocol as a rule book. It's like a shared language that both the sender and the receiver agree to use. It's a set of instructions to make sure the data isn't just received, but is actually understood perfectly. But here's the catch. Having a connection and a basic protocol, that's really just the starting line. To get the kind of internet we use every single day, the one that's reliable, secure, and crazy fast, well, that takes a whole lot more. So how much more are we talking about? Get this, it turns out there are over 70 different jobs that a network might need to do. 70! We're talking about everything from checking for mistakes in the data to managing the speed of the connection. It's a huge checklist of tasks. And you can kind of split all these jobs into two big buckets. You've got your mandatory functions, the absolute must-haves, like error control, which just makes sure the message that arrives is the one you sent. And then you have optional functions. Not every message needs top-level encryption, and you don't really need a download checkpoint for a quick text. You just use these when you need them. And this leads us to the biggest challenge of all. Just imagine if every single company decided to handle these 70-plus functions in their own unique way. It would be total chaos. An Apple computer couldn't talk to a Windows PC. So how do you get every device on the entire planet to speak the same language? The answer is both elegant and incredibly powerful. You create a universal blueprint, a single, standardized model that absolutely everyone agrees to follow. This universal blueprint is called the OSI model. It stands for Open Systems Interconnection. And it's basically a framework that takes all of that insane complexity, all 70-plus functions, and organizes them into a neat, tidy, layered structure. The OSI model breaks down all those networking jobs into 7 distinct layers, stacked right on top of each other. It starts at the very bottom with Layer 1, the physical layer. That's the actual cables and radio waves. It moves up through layers like Layer 3, the network layer, which is like a GPS for your data. And it goes all the way to the top to Layer 7, the application layer. That's where you and your web browser are hanging out. So, whenever you send an email, your data actually travels down through these 7 layers on your computer. Then it zips across the internet and goes back up through those same 7 layers on the other end. And the genius of this is that each layer only has to worry about its own specific job. A programmer making a web browser up at Layer 7 never has to think about the physics of Wi-Fi signals down at Layer 1. Each layer just does its part and passes it on. It's brilliant. So what the OSI model really does is transform what could have been a complete mess of over 70 different tasks into a clean, super efficient 7-step process. And because everything is separated like this, innovators can improve one layer, like creating faster Wi-Fi, without having to redesign the whole internet. This is the invisible blueprint that makes our entire connected world possible. All right, so what are the big takeaways here? First, the internet's simplicity is an amazing illusion built on top of some serious complexity. Second, for any communication to work, you need more than just a connection. You need a shared language, a protocol. And finally, the OSI model is that universal blueprint that organizes all the chaos and lets every device in the world talk to each other. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? The next time you tap your card to pay for something, or your GPS instantly finds a new route, what other invisible blueprints and hidden layers of complexity are working perfectly behind the scenes, just to make it all feel so simple?